Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me.
One week away from the opening ceremonies, the best in the world tune up for the Paris Olympic Games. We're in Gainesville, Florida, home of the 15-time NCAA champion Gators for the Holloway Classic, a meet named for the 14-time NCAA championship winning coach whose men's team won a third straight title this summer. I'm Will Bowling. Great to have Canadian Olympian Kate Van Buskirk and our sideline reporter, three-time world champion, reigning U.S. champ Grant Holloway. He's won 4 NCAA championships as a member of Mike Holloway's Florida squad. He is with us tonight as well. Weather has pushed us back a little bit. These are the pictures that we have been seeing for the last hour or so. Rain here in the Sunshine State, but we are just about ready to get things started here in Gainesville. Kate, going to be a very fun night and hopefully some good weather tonight for some of the best in the world.
The best in the world indeed, Will. Good evening. And you see the sun shining now down on the track. Wet conditions will not dampen the moods or the spirits of our athletes or, of course, the folks in the stands or anyone at home taking in this last final event ahead of those Paris Games. What a stunning shot there, Will.
These are live pictures in Gainesville here at Percy Beard Track, James G. Presley Stadium. And down on the track, our sideline reporter who just so happens to be a Holloway, not related to Mike Holloway, but he is the one and only Grant Holloway joining us downstairs. Grant, how does the weather feel down there for these athletes? What can you tell us about the conditions down there on the track?
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to this track meet. Usually, once it rains here in Gainesville, we get a nice little cool breeze. So we should have a lot of fast times. Obviously, the track is damp right now, but it'll dry up with some heat on the track.
Yeah, you know about these summer afternoon storms in Gainesville better than anyone. Are you excited to join the media tonight? Obviously, you got a pretty big meet coming up in a couple weeks, but you're a media member for the night.
Yeah, I'm a media member for the night, but obviously just as you go forward and you're looking towards, track meets and you circle stuff on your schedule, this one really caught my eye and this one really caught my attention. I really wanted to run, but I ran in the Monaco Diamond League not too long ago, and Coach Holloway and I just said, like, all right, let's just chill. And, what better fun to come out here on my home track and, interview some of these great Olympic athletes. So looking forward to the meet.
All right, Grant, stay dry down there. We're looking forward to hearing from you tonight, and we're excited to have you, man.
I can't wait. Thank you guys so much.
All right, there is Grant Holloway from one Florida Gator great to another. Anna Hall in the building tonight. In our schedule, we have got stars everywhere up and down this list, Kate. We have got a little bit of everything between Florida Gator great Christian Taylor finishing his career in the field. We also, Kate, have one of the best women's 100-meter hurdle fields of the season.
Well, Will, this might be parallel to an Olympic semifinal, if not an Olympic final, and you can't expect anything else here from the American Track League. Of course, we're going to see action in the sprint hurdles on both the men's and women's side. 14 Paris-bound USA Olympians competing here tonight in Florida, and then, of course, several other top Americans who are extending their season, enjoying that long runway into what will be the build-up for next year's World Championships. I'm super excited about that women's 800-meter. It's going to be hot no matter what is happening weather-wise. Of course, Athing Mo looking for some redemption after that heartbreaking fall at the trials. And she's going to be in some excellent company amongst several of the other top Americans. And then we've got lots of international athletes that we can't ignore either. Many of the contenders at Paris, both on the U.S. side and internationally, competing here tonight.
Going to be a lot of fun, and we hope the weather continues to cooperate. We expect great conditions the rest of the night here in Gainesville as we take a look at the men's long jump field that has been put together here tonight in Gainesville. Malcolm Clemens and Jeremiah Davis, a pair of Americans who will be heading to Paris, including Davis, the reigning U.S. champion, a Seminole who has intruded here in Gainesville, All-American in Florida State.
That's right, 2024 NCAA outdoor champion, indoor second, of course, an ACC standout in both the triple jump and the long jump. And lots of Floridians enjoying this sort of relative hometown advantage, whether you are a University of Florida athlete or not.
And this is Tyra Gittens in the women's long jump as well. Trinidadian athlete who was a Tokyo Olympic finalist in the long jump. Saw her last week at the Ed Murphy Classic in the PUMA American Track League in Memphis.
Well, she is a four-time national champion for Trinidad. That is the reigning national champion, as well as the 23, 19, and 18 best. She is the national record holder as well at 696. So looking forward to honing her skills and making some fine-tuning ahead of the Paris Games. Of course, she'll be joined by Anna Hall, who is headed to Paris. I should say Gittens, as you mentioned, Tokyo Olympian. Anna Hall, the standout heptathlete, looking for a global gold medal at these Paris Games, her first. It's a small but mighty women's long jump field.
It is. So that is the appetizer to a full course of outstanding track and field tonight. The men's 100-meter prelim round will lead us off here coming up in just a moment. Here from Percy Beard Track, James G. Presley Stadium. And the Holloway Pro Classic, named for 14-time NCAA champion coach Mike Holloway. So this is Wanya McCoy of the Bahamas. He will be in lane number 6 here in this opening race, the men's 100 prelim, heat 1 of 2. So Wanya McCoy there in 5. This is Brandon Hicklin, an American who will run in lane 5, made the U.S. Olympic trial final in the 100 meters.
Well, coming off a 9.94 personal best back in April, so he's got to feel good about coming in with the fastest season's best of the field, the only sub-10 clocking of the opening heat here.
Hicklin, who was 7th at the U.S. Olympic trials, ran 10:12 in Memphis at the Ed Murphy Classic last week. Our volunteers have been hard at work drying off this track here at James G. Presley Stadium. And there is another Florida Gator in our midst here in this opening heat. This is PJ Austin running in lane number 4, a semifinalist at the U.S. Olympic trials. So there is Austin the Gator, who has 2 wins on the American Track League circuit this year. He has had to run in a headwind every time he has laced up his spikes in the ATL. Ran 10:03 into a headwind last week, and will be hoping for some better luck here tonight. So this is heat 1 of 2 of our men's 100. With a final to be run later tonight. And there is the full field, including the return of Trayvon Bromell, a decorated U.S. Olympian sprinter. This is only his 4th race of the year, and first since May the 15th in Italy. He opened the season in 10:14. Injury cost him a race at the U.S. Olympic trials. He is back tonight, and we'll see what Trayvon can do running in lane 7. Yeah, there is Mr. Bromell, 8th in Rio, 2021 U.S. champion. An abductor injury in Italy on May 15th, making this a less than ideal season, but he will be looking for a fast run tonight. There is McCoy, the man headed to represent the Bahamas in the Paris Games. Heat 1 of 2, prelim round, men's 100 kicks off the Holloway Pro Classic. Men's 100, a good start for Zacchaeus Beard running in lane number 3. Trayvon Bromell hitting top speed through the middle portion, but in lane 4, PJ Austin once again. And PJ Austin close to a career best, 994. That is wind legal. Followed by Brandon Hicklin in 10:13. Wanya McCoy rounds out the top 3 in 10:19.
What a run there for Austin. That 994 is a huge improvement for him. 10:02 his best this season, and he gets up to top speed very quickly out of the blocks. Really fast start. Shorter than some of the other men beside him, but man, does he use that speed to his advantage. Look at the power through the middle of the track. He is absolutely untouchable. That is a stunning performance, and glanced over at the clock there. He should be awfully happy with that, Will, heading into the final.
And fitting that a man coached by the namesake of the meet, Mike Holloway, is the first man to the line here of the night. And there is the man, the myth, the legend. Take a look at those credentials. Unbelievable, the success the Florida Gators have had under his leadership. 14 team national titles, including 3 in a row on the men's side. So PJ Austin tuning up for a final in the men's 100 that he will headline later tonight.
Personal best of 6 meters 51, ranking her 3rd all time at the University of Iowa.
And certainly a season's best to start off the night. A great start for PJ Austin, who's downstairs with Grant Holloway.
Hey, I'm downstairs with my training partner, PJ Austin. We always say it's trench work. How did it feel?
It felt good, you know, easy run. Been working on the stuff I've been working on in practice, and it showed up. So happy with it. Get to finals. Do it again.
To tell the people what we do here in Gainesville, can you break it down for them?
You know, I train with really good people. You know, we call it the trenches. We really been here putting this work in. Gainesville, Florida, the swamp, ain't no place like it.
Hey, guerrilla warfare out here, guys. Sending it back up to you.
All right, thank you, Grant. A couple Florida Gators hanging out after a nice run, a season's best. Here's another angle.
Well, we should say that ties Austin for 7th in the country this year. That ties him with Hicklin at that 994. And not much of a win to speak of either. That is only a 0.8 meter per second advantage. So that bodes very well for this young man heading into that final, as I mentioned, Will.
One heat down and one more to go in our men's 100 meter prelims. In lane number 4, Rakoy Braithwaite. Julian Forte, the Jamaican, in lane number 5, the 31-year-old who has had a decorated career racing for Team Jamaica. So Forte in 5, 4th in Rio with the Jamaican 4x100 team. This is Sandri Davison, 21-year-old Jamaican, part of that new generation of Jamaican sprinters, Kate. We'll see him right here in lane 6.
Well, it's really telling that we have a 31-year-old next to a 21-year-old. It's the proverbial passing of the torch, and we should mention that they come in with identical season's best at 10 seconds flat, so you know that they're going to have eyes on each other.
Rakoy Braithwaite is headed to the Paris Games, the 2-time defending British Virgin Islands champ, qualified by world rankings with a season's best and personal best of 10:03 this season. We'll look for him in the middle of the track there in lane 4. Full start list for you. Another former Florida Gator, Joseph Fanboulay, in lane 3. He's headed to Paris as well. This is our second of 2 sections. Prelim round, men's 100. And they'll bring him back. Lane 9, Michael Gitze with a stumble there on the left side of your screen. And here's another look.
Yeah, and really obvious movement there by Gitze. Stumble is the right word. It looks as though he almost fell out of the blocks there. This is, again, the shaking out of those nerves. Trials are done. And of course, Gitze not headed to Paris, but still a difficult time for athletes to find their footing, literally and figuratively here, at what is still a very high pressure, high quality meet. So he will start again, has not been DQ'd. It'll be full field reset for heat 2 of 2 here of our men's 100.
McCoy Brathwaite, like lightning, out of the blocks, running in lane number 4, a half step on the rest of the field, and he will surge through on the outside with Emmanuel Matadi side by side. Those two will head on to the final at least, and Matadi takes it, 9:98. Brathwaite, a new career best, 10.0, and Van Boulay rounds out the top 3 in 10:05.
So make that 2 sub-10 performances of the day so far. Runners are liking this lightning fast track. Matadi 9:98. That is just a 100th of a second outside his lifetime best, and it is a big season's best.
From the University of South Carolina, he's a standout.
Qualified for the 100 and 4x100 in Paris. Here's how he did it.
Well, you talked about how fast Brathwaite gets out of those blocks. Again, shorter stature and uses that power to his full advantage. He looks untouchable at this point, but look at Matadi on the outside. The sneak attack from the tall man in all black. The Liberian national record holder coming through for the win.
Yeah, just 0.01 off of that national record he holds in 9:97. Matadi, the winner here in section 2, and he's downstairs with Grant.
All right, sub 10 performance after an hour delay. Tell me how you do it.
I mean, they give us a little bit of heads up, so I was able to gauge my work. I'm in my warm-up accordingly.
Right on. So we're gauging your warm-up and getting ready to go through this event. How are you going to take this sub 10 performance and try to drop it down again for the next final round?
Don't change nothing. Just go in the same race pattern and simple as that.
Can't wait. All right. He said he's going to throw it down. So we're going to send it back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Grant. A calm, cool, and collected Emmanuel Matadi, happy with a prelim round and perhaps taking aim at his own national record of 9:97 coming up later tonight in the final.
And Will, I love what he said there. I got it all right. I'm not going to change a thing. That's what you want. You want to nail it in the round so you can just practice perfection when it comes to the final. And I love hearing that from the Paris-bound Matadi.
So over on the long jump runway, this is 23-year-old Team USA superstar Anna Hall, headed to the Paris Olympics in the heptathlon.
Well, only 23 and already so accomplished. Unbelievable set of credentials for this young woman. Bronze in 2022 at Worlds, silver in 23, and you better believe that she is hunting down that gold in Paris.
You can take your pick on which credential you want to start with her, the World Championships heptathlon silver in 2023, bronze in 2022, and a 2-time NCAA champion who trained collegiately here on this track, Percy Beard Track in Gainesville, part of the factory of U.S. Olympians that have worn the orange and blue for the Florida Gators.
We've heard her speak about what it means to make these games. She is the 3-time defending USA champ in the heptathlon. She's the North American Indoor pentathlon record holder. And there comes a point where you're really competing against yourself. Hard thing to say amongst the talent that abounds at the US trials, of course, but incredible performances by Anna Holland, and working through some of her different individual events as she gets ready for that Olympic heptathlon.
And there you see our field of women's long jumpers, including the aforementioned Tyra Giddens, a Tokyo Olympian for Trinidad, who did the unthinkable, represented Texas A&M and Texas collegiately.
Is that blasphemy? I'm not sure.
A little bit. Men's long jump as well getting started here in Gainesville. And Sydney Rush, the American, a leadoff jumper here in our field of 8, including 2 members of Team USA headed to Paris, the 22-year-old Jeremiah Davis, the reigning U.S. champ, as well as Malcolm Clemens, the runner-up. I love the music, I love the energy, and I love the fact that rain is not falling from the sky right now, Kate Van Busker.
Well, let me tell you about rain. I've seen a lot of it in my career, and as a mid-distance runner, it might not affect us as much. For these jumpers, it is critical that they have a dry runway and a relatively dry pit, and you see the first of our several jumpers in the form of Rush taking full advantage of delayed but welcome and excellent conditions now here in Florida.
Sydney Rush will be followed by Blair Brooks, the former South Carolina and Northern Iowa jumper.
Looking to get some crowd involvement here is Brooks. Has a personal best of 7.75, set that earlier this year.
And there is our crowd here that has braved the elements. And that was Laquan Naird, the 3-time Bahamas champion, last down the runway. And our fans are going to be treated to an excellent night. We have got 3 of the 4 fastest women's 100-meter hurdlers ever, as in the history of the world, including the world record holder Toby Emusan, who will take the track later tonight. I think Mo is here. In the men's 800, Josh Hoey and Clayton Murphy headline that field. Meanwhile, this is Will Williams, the 29-year-old American who was 8th at the 2023 World Championships, up 3rd here in our men's long jump runway. And a solid start for Mr. Williams. Fans loving it. Great track and field fans as well down here in Gainesville.
Well, and you would expect those stands to continue filling up as the evening progresses. Say that you wait for greatness, and that is exactly what these fans know is next on track and on field.
Look, if you're watching the stream, you're in the Sunshine State, you're within driving distance of Percy Beard Track, this might be your sign to show up in person and make yourself available for, I think, Mo, for some excellent races we've got coming up here tonight. So there is the overhead view, a great shot from our crew. The women's 400-meter hurdles on deck. What a time it is to be racing the 400-meter hurdles, whether it's on the men's side or the women's side. Kate, this promises to be one of the most exciting events, perhaps of the entire Olympic Games. And Dalilah Muhammad, she's got a couple of gold medals representing Team USA, the 34-year-old who was a part of that U.S. 4x400 team that won gold.
I love that you have the ability to just throw that away, Will. A couple of gold medals.
That's right.
Because, you know, of course, we can't overstate how incredible these performers are. But when you're in the midst of greatness like we are here tonight, it is easy to forget momentarily how fantastic these credentials are. And again, just how stunning they would be in any other country in the world. The depth that the U.S. has shown time and time again is absolutely astounding. This event absolutely going to put that on full display.
One of the marquee events of U.S. track and field at the last 2 Olympic Games. Delila, the Rio gold medalist. Of course, Sydney McLaughlin, the Tokyo gold. And Delila will be running in lane 6 here in this final. Here you see the entire list. Cassandra Tate, the 33-year-old American, is in lane 5. She was 8th at the Olympic trials this year. And Alana Jukic of Australia, she'll be heading to the Olympic Games representing Australia, qualified by world rankings. The 26-year-old will be right on Muhammad's outside, running here in lane 7. First final of the night here at the Holloway Pro Classic. It is the women's 400-meter hurdles, headlined by Delila Muhammad, running in 6.
Can't forget for Muhammad that stellar 51.58 best. That is an untouchable time by anyone, including herself, so far of this field. I'd expect a strong race there. You see Gianna Woodruff, as you mentioned, Paris-bound, one of 2 in this women's 400-meter hurdle final.
Off we go with the women's 400-meter hurdle final. The overhead look at our field, and Delila Muhammad starting to make up the stagger on Alana Jukic, the Australian Olympian, to her outside. This is Muhammad with a half-step lead, halfway home, looking smooth.
Well, the 34-year-old coming in with eons of experience behind her and putting that to good use. She just glides over those hurdles, Bill, makes them look easy.
The 8th place finisher at the Olympic trials, Cassandra Tate, starting to push her. Simultaneous over the hurdles with Jukic running swiftly on the outside. Muhammad in the middle, close through the final few barriers, as Cassandra Tate, the 33-year-old, battles with Muhammad. There on the inside, the Paris-bound Gianna Woodruff running well. Here comes Jukic with speed at the end, and the Australian takes it. 55.3, just a tick off of her career best. Tuning up for Paris in a big, big way. Alana Jukic beats Woodruff in 55.45 for the win. Muhammad third, 55.85.
So just outside of Jukic's season's best, as you said, but a nice season's best there for Woodruff. She came in with a 56.56 to her name, and you see how tight things are there through the outside lanes. Jukic, Muhammad, Tate battling together around this turn. It's the speed endurance there of Muhammad that you expect to pull through, but here Tate giving her a good run for her money and a well-timed push on the inside. She was running completely solo, was Woodruff, through the majority of this race. So difficult running inside and outside there, the 2 Paris-bound athletes, Woodruff and Jukic, battling to the line. Fast arm speed and great power across the line for Jukic, and she will take the win.
Well, Alana Jukic had a lot of work to do the second half of that race. She takes the win in 55.3. She is Paris-bound on the 400 hurdles. Grant Holloway is Paris-bound on the hurdles as well, and Grant's downstairs with our winner.
Yeah, we're going to be in Paris together, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think you told me you ran in 3 track meets, 3 different countries, 3 track meets in 3 different days?
Yes.
Tell us how you did it.
Oh gosh, it was just living on an Olympic dream. Like, I was just on the cusp of making that quota for the Olympic team, and at the end of the day, like, that's all I was kind of running on. It's just like that hope and that dream. I think I got to my last day and I was like, I'm just gonna have fun. Like you can't really expect too much. You know, this whole ranking system is kind of crazy and stuff like that. I was definitely chasing the qualifier, but did leave it quite last minute, so. Yeah.
To come here, hour delay, and then to come here almost close to your PR, but not quite there. How do you use this as a tune-up, getting ready for Paris?
Yeah, this is just like exactly what I needed, confidence-wise. I remember, 4 years ago, I had a meeting with Delila, and I was like, I'll see you at the next Olympics, and here I am, racing against her leading up to the Olympics is just a dream.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congrats on your 3 countries in 3 days. I don't know if I could do that, to be honest, but I'm gonna send it back up to you guys.
She's well-traveled. Spain, Switzerland, and Poland. June 21st, June 22nd, June 23rd, and a win tonight here in Gainesville. Up next, the men's 400 hurdles. The party just getting started here in Gainesville.
Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me, I'm the one who had to Remember me.
Back in Gainesville, this is the Holloway Pro Classic, the conclusion of a fun summer here with the PUMA American Track League. This is the last jump for Tyra Gittens of Texas and of Trinidad and Tobago as the women's long jump just gets started here on Percy Beer Track at the start of the competition.
400-meter hurdles. Let's meet the athletes.
Tyra, who has been a mainstay in the PUMA American Track League this summer. So we'll continue to show you pictures of the long jump as it continues. And up next on the track, it is the men's 400-meter hurdles. There you see our entire field. And Kate, we've got another Paris-bound Olympian in Nathaniel Ezekiel, who will be in lane number 7.
Well, we had some age to the advantage of our women in the 400 hurdles. Talk about the youngsters coming up to take their places. Ezekiel, the only 21-year-old, third at the NCAA championships. And there you see Robinson.
Christopher Robinson, the 23-year-old and the 2023 NCAA champion running for Alabama. Finished second there this year, 4th at the U.S. Olympic trials as he continues his season. And there is Shaquem Smith of the Bahamas. He will be running Robinson's inside. 3-time national champion of the Bahamas in the 400-meter hurdles. And there is the man representing the Baylor Bears, Nathaniel Ezekiel. Qualified by the Olympic standard, ran 48.0 in Waco back on May the 11th. He will represent Nigeria at the Paris Games.
We've seen so many of these athletes coming in with personal bests that are also season's best from this year. That counts for so much. I can tell you, as someone who did that to qualify for my own Olympics 3 years ago, coming in with that level of confidence and trust in the process that it's all coming together at the right time, the level of self-belief that that instills is paramount.
So over in the men's long jump, Will Williams continues to jump, the 8th place finisher at last year's World Championships in Budapest. 29-year-old. Seems happy with the effort.
Dare I say a little smile there from Mr. Williams.
That's right. So men's 400 hurdlers are waiting in the wings, ready to go. So in this last tune-up for Nathaniel Ezekiel, for many others, we hear a lot, Kate, that these are technical races, especially in a technical event like this one. It's an interesting thought process, picking one thing in your race to work on in this last tune-up. It seems that's a bit of a theme for runners like this who have one final opportunity before they get on a plane.
Well, at this point, you want that one thing to be fairly small, and in this point, actually, you don't want to overthink it. So hopefully you've got that one thing, but you're not putting too much pressure on it. This is where the magic happens. It's like an orchestra conductor. You never want to get the best out of your orchestra in practice. You want to wait for the final performance.
So here we go. Final men's 400-meter hurdles. Quick out of the blocks, Nathaniel Ezekiel. Look for him in the white and green. And 7, Christopher Robinson, the man who was 4th at the U.S. Trials, running in lane number 6.
And it is those two running almost in tandem. Robinson trying to make up the stagger. The only sub-48 clocking of the group. 47.95 his best from this year. And he's got some work to do around this bottom of the track.
And look at the relaxation on the face of the young Nigerian athlete, Nathaniel Ezekiel. The slight grimace for Christopher Robinson right to his inside. Bit of a stutter step, but Ezekiel still has a step on the American to his inside shoulder. Nathaniel Ezekiel from the gun will take the men's 400-meter hurdles. 48-21. And what a nice season it continues to be for the Baylor Bear, who takes the win. Christopher Robinson was second in 48.96.
It was a good fight by Robinson. You see how hard he's working there, but relaxation was the name of the game, and you called it, Will. Absolutely smooth like silk. Little stutter step there. That's the only fault I saw. And here you see how hard Robinson is having to work to try to keep up with Ezekiel, and he continues to gracefully pull away just outside of his lifetime best. But a win from gun to tape has got to feel good, especially at this point leading into Paris.
So there is the man who took it gun to tape, Nathaniel Ezekiel, in 48-21. Christopher Robinson second right behind him. James Smith, Shaquem Smith, and Malik Smith rounding out that top 5. So shaping up to be a pretty fast day here on Percy Beard Track inside James G. Presley Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. And Nathaniel Ezekiel, coming up in a minute, is going to have a difficult task of talking intelligently after running a 400. Grant Holloway's downstairs with him.
I'm not a catcher, and my knees don't work like Megan Stallion, but I'm down here with my boy. Tell us about the race, brother.
I mean, I got up fast. Basically, we've been working on some techniques in practice, so I just tried to come out here, execute, and get myself ready for Paris.
Absolutely. Using this meet as a tune-up, like where do you see yourself going? Obviously, the games are in about less than a week. How do you see yourself working, and how do you see yourself going?
From what just happened right now, I would say like I'm ready, and the main thing right now is just for me to get into the finals in the Olympics. So from there, we can know what's next.
All right, I don't know about him. Oh, my knees don't work like that, but I'm gonna send it back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Grant. Thank you for calling some balls and strikes down there for us as Nathaniel Ezekiel takes his win. That is always, Kate, fascinating how, look, all these events are difficult, but anything over 400, whether it's a flat 4 or a 400-meter hurdles, congrats to the winner, obviously, but I never envy someone who's got to immediately talk about it intelligently.
Well, we call it swimming in that pool of lactic acid, and I got to tell you, once that gets to your head, now he's jogging. I mean, that's bragging at this point. That's showing off, and that shows that he is ready for those games. Congrats to the youngster, 21-year-old Paris-bound Ezekiel.
So our crowd gets a good show tonight here at Percy Beard Track in Gainesville after an hour weather delay. We've got great weather here tonight, and so far we have had some outstanding times. This is Anna Hall, who had a couple of attempts in the women's long jump. She is going to shut it down for the rest of the day. We're told a little bit of slipping on the runway. There is no injury concern tonight. Anna Hall has not suffered any kind of ailment. However, in the name of caution, and certainly I don't think anybody can blame her, a little bit of slipping on a wet runway, she is going to call it a night in the women's long jump, a competition that continues here live. And that is Tiana Tobias, the 23-year-old American who was just on the runway.
Tobias, a 6:51 jumper at her best, and that came earlier this year, 9th at the NCAA Indoor Championships.
And there is Will Williams. Kate, been through an Olympics. You were in Tokyo. You raced there. Did you just wrap yourself in bubble wrap the week before you made the trip? I wouldn't leave my house.
I wish I could say that. Unfortunately, given that it was the COVID games,
sure,
I found myself in Hawaii wrapped in bubble wrap, and I can't think of many better places to wrap yourself in a cloak of invisibility and protection than in beautiful Hawaii. But certainly back to some normalcy this year for these Paris Games, and a real celebration as we return to excellence in athletics and a return to the runway here with Gittens.
Tara Gittens, who was a high school superstar in Nashville, Tennessee. Decorated NCAA All-American, of course, as well at Texas and at Texas A&M.
And you say decorated, we got to put some context into that. 18-time All-American, and that is absolutely astounding.
That is otherworldly for the national record holder of Trinidad and Tobago, Tara Gittens. Over the men's long jump, this is U.S. Olympian Jeremiah Davis, the 22-year-old reigning U.S. champ. And what a U.S. trials it was for him. 8:20 season's best and 8:37 PB from last summer. He's got big expectations moving forward into the Paris Games.
He is a Florida native and putting on a good show here in Gainesville. ACC indoor and outdoor champion in long jump and triple jump. Standout at Florida State, which I know we're supposed to whisper here in these hallowed halls. But certainly lots of great support behind Mr. Davis here. He's looking for that support from our crowd, and they are giving it to him.
Yeah, they don't care that he's a Seminole. The pride of Lehigh, Florida, ready to take the runway here in the reigning U.S. champ, Jeremiah Davis. And just a little bit over the board there. Davis will walk back and make the proper adjustments. We will tell you, of course, what all these marks are as soon as that is made available to us. A bit of technical issues on the timing side there downstairs in Gainesville. And here's another look at his jump. Close.
Very close, but look at that hang time. I love that we got to see that in slow-mo because he just sits in the air. It's like those cartoons, you know, where they don't realize that the car is falling apart behind them until they're over the cliff. That's what he looks like. He just sits there in the air until he says, all right, gravity, I'm ready for you now.
Lots of Gators logos, lots of great Florida track and field fans. And back on the runway, that is Sydney Rush, starting over the order once more. And a foul there for Rush as well. So we will get you results, we will get you marks as soon as they become available to us. And again, weather putting a wrench in a lot of the plans, but that's all right. We're making it work here in Gainesville, and our volunteers that have dried off the track and dried off those long jump runways, we thank them for helping make this competition possible. That is no small feat here in the Florida heat.
This is always the debate. Do you want the rain to cool things down a little bit, or do you want a dry track and just the steam pouring off of it? I think we're seeing both sun and rain here as we move back to our men's long jump runway.
And Blair Brooks. Next up on that runway. And so Brooks runs through that one. So men's long jump, women's long jump, continuing on into the latter stages now of those competitions. And back on the track, we are ready for another prelim round. Up next, the hurdles are back on. This is the men's 110 hurdles. And there is your field here in heat 1 of 2, a final that will run later tonight, right at the end of our competition, 9:48 Eastern Time, 8:48 Central, the time that these men will be hoping they are back on this track. Let's start with Tyler Mason here, the Jamaican who was qualified for the Olympics with the Olympic standard. He ran in Kingston on July the 8th. 28-year-old who was 4th at the Jamaican Championships 2 years in a row, but ran that standard last summer. Next to the American Dylan Beard with a 13:10 PB this year, running in 4. First of 2 heats, men's 110 hurdles prelims. There on the inside, Davion Wilson quick out of the blocks. Looking to maintain through the middle of this race. Wilson in a tight finish will take it. The man who was 5th at the NCAA Championships, first of this prelim, 13:32. That is wind legal. Followed by the Jamaican, Tyler Mason, who runs 2nd. Dylan Beard in a tight finish, 13:45 was 3rd.
Wilson, a man on a mission. 13:23, his best coming in. Reverse those numbers, 13:32 the time here, but look at how quick he is out of the blocks and then just absolutely focused 100% of the way down this straightaway. Clean hurdler, really smooth up and over. Like I said, absolutely focused, trained on that finish line, and it serves him very well. Good push on the outside there as well, but it will be Wilson taking what looks to be an easy win there, just outside of a lifetime best.
Wilson first, Tyler Mason second, Miles Hunter given 3rd. There was your leaderboard in the first section of our men's 110 hurdles, and Davion's downstairs with our Grant Holloway.
Awesome, awesome. The music is jumping. How was the crowd? How was the race? Take us through.
The crowd was great. Kind of didn't hear anything during my race, but I just wanted to focus on getting out of the box and executing, because I haven't been executing very well the last few races, so just trying to get my lick back.
Yeah, awesome. Trying to get the lick back. Biggest thing is coming into this track at Gainesville. Meet records 13:03. Or not meet record. Facility records 13:03. I think you can do it.
I think so too. Maybe a little bit of
it. Who has it, right?
You.
I think it's definitely doable, man. Catch a rhythm. All right, guys, send it back up to you.
I'd say Grant Holloway is pretty qualified to make statements like that. Downstairs with our winner, Davion Wilson, here in heat number 1, the man from Houston. Feels pretty confident going into our final later tonight.
Well, if he hasn't been executing very well, and that's any indication, I think that he's a perfectionist more than I would be. That was a beautifully executed race, and I'm sure he'll bring that with him into the final.
Back over the men's long jump. Malcolm Clemens, runner-up at the U.S. Trials in 8:18, 3rd at the NCAA Championships with the Florida kid on. And Clemens with a legal jump there. Helped the Gators to a third straight NCAA team championship in Eugene.
You know, what I wouldn't pay to be a fly on the wall of the mind of some of these guys. Just working through all those little details as they get ready for some of the biggest performances of their life.
All right, let's go downstairs. Grant Holloway has got a very special guest. They're Florida Gator pros everywhere. We got one in a different sport. Grant, who you got down there with you?
I got my boy Ben Shelton, a Carhartt OG. Ben, you're here at the track, obviously not at the tennis court, but what is the dynamic that Florida brings that just breeds these great athletes?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think being able to see Gator greats everywhere you go, in the gym every day, I see you lifting, you know, Joe, Arion, the lifts never end. So to be able to come out here and see great athletes compete and do what they do, it's inspiring for sure.
So now take us through one of your track workouts. I see you at the track sometimes working out. Take us through, how do you use some of the track dynamic and you put it into tennis?
Well, tennis is an endurance sport, so I'd say we train more like long distance runners, but I'll have 8 400s, minute and a half rest in between. But yeah, we just kind of grind it out. Not as much speed work, but just straight endurance.
As we say as the young crowd, sheesh.
I love it. All right, thank you, Grant. 8 400s. I love the look on Grant Holloway's face when he just has the thought of running 8 400s.
I mean, that's a workout I used to do as a miler, you know, and I would dread that workout. So I can attest to its efficacy, but my goodness, that is that's a painful one for sure.
Fantastic. Grant is down there hustling. He is a natural, no doubt about it, in the sideline reporting game as we get ready for heat number 2 here in the men's 110 hurdles. There you see a look at this great facility, host of the SEC Outdoor Championships this past spring. And the full lane assignments here for heat number 2. We've got the NCAA champion in 4 in Darius Luff, the man from Lincoln, Nebraska, who won a national championship for the University of Nebraska. A cool story there. You'll see him in lane 4. A rematch with Cameron Murray, who took the win in the PUMA American Track League in Memphis last week, ran 13-3 to win the Ed Murphy Classic.
And that was a fair and legal jump by Tobias.
And I was on site there, had the privilege of being able to watch Mr. Murray in action. He's going to be in some good company here to the men to his inside.
And Eric Edwards Jr., the man who runs there in lane 3, 24-year-old, who ran a 13:38 into that headwind last week in Memphis. These are fantastic conditions tonight. Track a bit wet, but the wind perfect for fast times. This is heat 2 of the men's 110 hurdles. Eric Edwards Jr. quickly out of the block, simultaneous with Cameron Murray to the outside. Pretty even halfway through. Murray with a slight lead. As Edwards battles back, it's close at the finish, and it will be Eric Edwards Jr. with lane 4 open. Murray in 5. 13:37 for Eric Edwards Jr. That's very close to a season's best. Robert Dunning, 13:42, and Cameron Murray, 13:43 in 3rd.
And tough work there for Edwards and Murray having to run with that open lane. Unfortunately, Luff not starting this race. Very quick out of the blocks for Schulman, but making up that distance quickly was Murray. Cameron Murray powering away, and then it was in the closing meters here that Edwards Jr. found his footing and really shut things down across the line. You know that you are in control when you can cruise across the final hurdle and across the finish line as smoothly as does Eric Edwards Jr. here. And totally focused, and then right about here he realizes the margin of advantage that he has And he is a cool, calm, collected, smooth operator, taking the win in heat number 2.
That is the order where they finished. Edwards Jr. first, Dunning at the line gets second, followed by Murray in third, and Grant's downstairs with our winner.
I was just reminded that we haven't won a football national title since 2008 from Eric, so I think he's really, really relaxed out here. Eric, take us through the race.
Pretty casual. Didn't really have the ability to warm up due to weather delay, but you know, circumstances like this really show you who know how to hurdle, who can still come out here and execute regardless of the circumstances.
Awesome. With the circumstances obviously starting to dry up, hopefully Florida can get another national title this year. We're going to beat LSU, but how do you plan on coming throughout this next race and really trying to come out here for the final?
Really just reset, put some music back in, rehydrate, come back out here whenever it's time and just execute again. Try to quicken up the start a little bit, stay consistent, stay clean. Let's make it happen.
We're going to make it happen, and Florida's going to win a national title. Sending it back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Grant. That Florida-LSU rivalry, it runs very, very deep. There is no doubt about it. I love it. Fans enjoying a good competition here tonight. See some Florida gear, see some Team USA gear, and they're seeing a great long jump competition that is continuing on the men's side and on the women's side. Start with the women's long jump that continues on here. Jasmine Todd, the decorated U.S. Olympian, All-American for Oregon. Team USA mainstay. So the results as we have them at the moment look like this in the women's long jump. It's Tyra Gittens who has got a new season's best, and she has equaled her career best with that mark. That is 6:96, followed by Todd in second. On the men's side, here is Will Williams. The 29-year-old who was 9th at the U.S. Olympic trials. And again, results as we get them will come to you in the long jump competitions, as the men and the women continue to dazzle this crowd here in Gainesville at the Holloway Pro Classic. So just shy of 8:30 in Gainesville, Florida. And those hurdles will be ready for some of the best in the world, Kate Van Buskirk. We are very excited to watch the women's 100-meter hurdles tonight. Expected to see Kenny Harrison, Grace Stark, Masai Russell, and the world record holder, Toby Amusan. This is going to be electric.
Well, the DJ knows what's up, that's for sure. He's going to get this crowd into it. We're into it here. And as I said, you know, this could be really an Olympic semifinal all in itself, each of these. Can't wait for that final taking place. I mean, to have 3 of the top 4 all time, this is astounding here at the American Track League. And perhaps some future Olympians getting into it as well, as we see that, you know, that's the beauty of our sport. It is exciting for all ages. I don't know, those look like some pretty fast feet. That's either going to be a swimmer or a hurdler, I think.
A lot of Olympic talent that comes out of this area of the country. Always the Florida speed versus Texas speed versus California speed conversation that is nonstop in this country. And well, we all come together every Olympics under that Team USA. But in this hurdles competition, we talked about it last week in the Ed Murphy Classic, but it is a great time to be running hurdles, isn't it? In the 400 hurdles, the 110, the 100, records going down left and right. There are the start lists. There is the start list for this opening heat. where you have 4 ladies who are headed to the Paris Olympic Games. Sydney Simber, Masai Russell, Toby Amasan. Will see them in Heat 2. And in Heat 1, you've got Grace Stark and Tanisha Cartwright, who are headed to Paris.
The Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo and the World Indoor Champion in 2018, she's our American record holder.
Well, a true international affair here. We have Puerto Rico, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and of course the U.S. represented. And there is the woman of the hour.
The former world record holder and the second fastest 100-meter hurdler ever. The 31-year-old who was 3rd at last year's World Championships, Kenny Harrison, an NCAA champion at 12:20, the second fastest time of all time. Grace Stark will be right to her outside. She finished 3rd at the U.S. Olympic trials in a career best of 12:31, and she has picked an excellent time in the summer to run her best. The 2024 NCAA champion for the Florida Gators. And there is Christina Clemens, the 7th place finisher at the U.S. Olympic trials. A very speedy trio of American hurdlers in 4, 5, and 6. This is Heat 1 of 2 in our 100-meter hurdle prelim. And there you see immediately, that's Unique Thompson, the Jamaican, in 3, who raises her hand, and we'll try this again.
She knew right away. I mean, she comes out of the blocks and then the hand goes up. It's not really the order you're meant to do it in. She didn't like something. I see a yellow flag behind her, so hoping we can have a clean start at the second time of asking here. Lane 1 open, lanes 2 through 7 occupied with some of the best sprint hurdlers in the world this year and all time. So Thompson given a second chance here next to, as you said, the second fastest of all time, Harrison, who set that 12:20 former world record back in 2016.
How fast can Kenny go? A clean start this time in section 1 of the women's 100-meter hurdle prelims. Grace Stark headed to Paris and headed first to the finish line. Very quick in Heat 1. 12:42, that is wind legal. That will send her to tonight's final. Kenny Harrison second in 12:61, and Christina Clemens rounding out the top 3 in 12:64.
Stark fast out of the blocks and then chops her way over those hurdles. There's no other way to put it. Great shot there with the drone and how fast she is pulling that V behind her. She is like a goose pulling the rest of the crowd along to the finish line. Huge margin of victory there for Stark. That is outside of her best, but that 12:42 does make her the 7th fastest time in the country this year behind Harrison.
And let's go downstairs to Grant.
7th fastest time in the country this year. My training partner, you're training on our track. Take us through the race.
You know, there was I don't know what it was at the beginning. We kind of heard something in the blocks. We stood up and just kind of, focused, refocused, and just got to try to get a good start.
For the people who don't know how we train, can you take them through how intense our workouts actually are?
Yeah, so Grant starts 10 meters behind me. He complains it should be closer, but it's not going to happen. But we go together, and he's chasing me, and we talk a lot of crap back and forth. And you know, you'd think that it's a little crazy out here, but it's the best environment to train in.
So basically, if you want to win national championships, no free shout-outs, but come to Florida.
All right,
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is just turning into a Florida Gators recruiting pitch here tonight. As Grant Holloway, Grace Stark down there. Stark will head on to the final, and the crowd here gets ready for the second half of our prelims here in the women's 100-meter hurdles. We feel like this is a field that will rival, Kate, the Olympic final. And I love the psychological battle that is, right, of Grant starting 10 meters back in training.
Well, you're always either the hunter or the hunted. Some people like to be one versus the other. In this case, I mean, what a duo. I can't decide which I'd like to be of those two, but all I'm saying is I'm glad I'm not on the track because I don't have a prayer to be anywhere close to these two.
So in Heat 2, Masai Russell, the 2024 U.S. champion and the fourth fastest hurdler of all time, 12:25 at the U.S. trials. And on the world rankings, she is #1 going into the Paris Games, the second fastest American ever. And then the world record holder, Tobi Amusan. 12:12 in the Eugene semifinals, a wind-aided 12:06 to win the 2022 World Championship. She has gold on her mind representing Nigeria in Paris. So in this field, Kate, we have 4 Paris-bound Olympians. Cindy Simber for Team GB, Masai Russell of the United States, Tobi Amusan in lane 6. Looks like no Charisma Taylor in this field. So 3 Olympians and the world record holder. Quickly out of the blocks, Tobi Amusan, the world record holder in the women's 100 hurdles. And on her outside, it's Anisha Cartwright, who's running very quickly. Cindy Simber down there on the inside. Here comes Amusan, late to take it. Wind legal, 12:49. Masai Russell was in the mix the entire way. She runs 12:51, and Simber takes third in 12:62. A close trio in Heat 2, getting set for a very fun final later tonight.
Well, you know, nerves were high coming into this, given the talent and depth that Tobi Express, as they've called her. Amusan absolutely on top of her game, and what a privilege for her. The first Nigerian ever to be world champion and also world record holder, and she is set to represent her country extremely well at those Paris Olympics. Before she gets there, she has a hurdle final to run here in Gainesville, and what a close finish there between Amusan and Russell.
A hurdle final is scheduled tonight for 9:47 p.m. Eastern Time. There was your leaderboard. Amusan, Russell, and Simber 1, 2, and 3, getting ready for the final later tonight. And Tobi Amusan, the world record holder, is downstairs with Grant.
Tobi has something that I'm definitely chasing, and that's the world record. So take us through that race.
Look, God is good. Shit. I was like, set, I'm like, what's going on? Shoot the gun. I feel dizzy, but I mean, I got to the finish line first. Gonna go prep for finals, and we'll see.
Real quick before I let you go, you're in my opinion, I think you're in one of the hardest events in track and field. How do you have to get up for basically a semifinal round every single day for a race?
Look, it's not a semifinal round. It's finals before finals. Look, we gotta bring in the A game, and then the next round A+, and then the next round is like, God, take the wheel. Cause boy, that event. But I mean, it's amazing how women hustle has evolved. Because I can remember one year they were winning championship with 12-9. Now it's like 12-37. It's like, ooh. But look, no comments.
No comment. Go get ready for the final. Drink some water. And you need a banana. You said you dehydrated. Find a mango, too.
Thank you, Grant. I love the honesty there from Toby.
Well, you talked about it's an exciting time to be a hurdler. It is such a difficult time to be a hurdler, and what a privilege that is. Final after final after final. You heard it from Toby, and she's going to bring that final again in the actual final still to come.
Gorgeous night in Gainesville. Mother Nature pushing back everything an hour, but it has turned into a very fast night here on the track inside James G. Presley Stadium.
When did that sun go down, Will?
It just happened quickly, didn't it?
It sure did, but the lights come on, and that's when the magic happens. That means it's 100-meter time.
It sure does, and there is the start list for the men's 100 final that is coming up here in just a few minutes. So that is who you will see with the Florida Gator PJ Austin running on his home track. That's coming up in just about 10 minutes. And up next on the track, we will have the women's 100-meter final. And we'll hope that wind continues to be at the perfect level for this group of 9 ladies, with personal bests in the 10.9s and season's bests in the very low 11s. Candace Hill, the runner closest to getting under that mark. She's run 11.00 this year. And there is Candace Hill, semifinalist at the U.S. Championships. Had a good run in the 200 in the American Track League last week at the Ed Murphy Classic in Memphis, clocking 22:70. Made the U.S. Trials final running 7th. At the U.S. Olympic Team Trials in Eugene, she will be right in the middle of the track running in lane number 4.
As you said, a 10.98 at her best, 11 flat this season. You better believe she wants to dip into that 10 high range once again here in Gainesville.
And right to her inside, a U.S. Olympic silver medalist with the 4x100 meter relay. This is Javianne Oliver. And everyone who is in Memphis ran into the wind a weekend ago at the Ed Murphy Classic. Oliver 11:51 into that big time headwind that was in our women's 100 meter final. Mother Nature will be smiling down upon her maybe a bit more tonight, as she will lace them up there in lane 3. And then there's Favor Ofili. She's headed to Paris with Nigeria alongside Toby Amusan, qualified with the Olympic standard June 16th in her home country. The Nigeria national champion in 100 meters at 11:06. And look out, Grant Holloway, because this is another LSU Tiger who might just decide to get ready for some more football trash talk the way Eric Edwards Jr. did a few minutes ago as well.
I'm loving the showdown between those two.
And the purple and yellow there for Ofili, the same colors that she sported in college. And there is the trio right there in the middle. Oliver on the right, Hill down the middle, with Ofili there too.
Well, another example, we call it the American Track League. That it is, of course, but fantastic opportunity for athletes representing a variety of international federations to show their best. Bahamas, Nigeria, Trinidad represented here. Of course, the U.S., the host country with talent abounding.
And Favor Ofili is in really good form. Feels like she could be due in Paris for a big-time performance.
11:06 this season, 10.93 at her best. She is knocking on that door of that sub-11 clocking, inching ever closer to it with each race, and certainly moving in the right direction. As you mentioned, when you can run 11.13 into a headwind, you know that bodes well for what's to come when you've got that wind in your favor if you're O'Philly.
That's right. Well done. And Candace Hill, you have to imagine, is very motivated with the season she continues to have. 25 years old. She has been on the scene for a while now. 7th in that U.S. trials and extra hungry as she continues her track and field summer. So there is the field. Great overhead look. Sun down, lights on, and fast times on deck in the women's 100. Quick out of the blocks, Javianne Oliver on the inside, the right side of your screen here in the women's 100-meter final. Here comes Candace Hill in the middle of the track, side by side with O'Philly, close at the line. It looks like we got legal wind again as we wait for the final times. This was quick. And it was very close between Candace Hill and Favor O'Philly.
And it was Hill to my eye. We saw O'Philly just look over at the clock about a meter before the line. I'm wondering if that might have been the difference, but O'Philly does take it.
Yes.
In a very close, they went to the thousandths of the second, 11.07 given to both O'Philly and Hill. O'Philly with the advantage.
As close as it could possibly get at the finish, it's Favor O'Philly just barely, and here's how she did it.
As you mentioned, a fantastic start there by Oliver and Rutherford. Now through the middle of the track, moving well. O'Philly. Hill has the advantage here, and it wasn't until right at the line. I think it's that relaxation of O'Philly. Look at the advantage of Hill. She has it wrapped up until she doesn't. That side glance, I thought, might have cost the Nigerian the title, but she takes it, glides across the line, relaxes her way to a win, and just a hair outside of her season's best.
11.07, a 100th off of it as Favor O'Philly takes the win in front of Candace Hill. Those two bringing the best out of each other here tonight in the women's 100 final, and they're both downstairs with Grant Holloway.
I got both of the pair of the the LSU Tigers, as Eric Edwards would want. So you guys are training partners. Just take us through what training's like, and then take me through the race, please.
Like you said, we're training partners, and we come out every day trying to push each other and trying to get everything done, and you know, I don't even know what to say. But I mean, we push each other every day and motivate each other to like keep going, and having our coach by our side telling us this is not the last meet, just go there and do what you have been training all this time to do, and let's see what happens, and we're here.
Candace?
Yeah, what Favor said, I'm truly blessed to have a training partner like Favor. You know, she's ran sub 22 in the 200, and so I'm trying to get that one day, and so training with her in practice is really pushing me to do my best.
With Coach Shaver here, I know he's going to say go Tigers, but what's some of the stuff that he wanted you guys to come out here and execute?
For me, it's my start, and yeah,
start as well. and just go through race modeling. You know, Favor has Olympics coming up, and so she's just gearing up for that. And so I'm just out here trying to improve my PR.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, just because I know Coach Shaver's going to tell me to do it, I'll do this for him.
There we go.
I'll throw up oh, I did it the wrong way, too. Oh, I was right. All right, there we go. We're going to throw up the Tigers, guys.
The internet is fast at work. There's going to be a screenshot of that probably very soon. LSU well represented here as well in Gainesville, and a nice run for the two training partners.
And we're set to see them again in the 200 coming up in short order.
From the United States with a personal best, 1743, Donald Scott.
Men's 100 final is up next, and that is how the athletes will line up. PJ Austin winning heat number 1, and Emmanuel Matadi winning heat number 2 earlier this afternoon. And Matadi gearing up for Paris. Walk me through the psychology, Kate, in hearing that gun, knowing that it's the last time you're going to be tested before you get on a plane and represent your country.
Well, this is, again, practice, practice, practice. You heard it earlier. This is not semifinals. This is not finals of the American Track League. This is final practice. All of these guys are looking to put themselves in the best positions to be medal contenders at the games, medal contenders moving forward into world championships coming up. This is just ironing out the finest of kinks and then solidifying the feeling of being on that line, getting it right when it matters most, and putting it together in the biggest moment of your life. No pressure, by the way.
Yeah, no pressure at all, right? There is PJ Austin, 5th in his semifinal heat at the U.S. Championships. And the other heat winner, Emmanuel Matadi, who will be right beside him. He is qualified for the 100-meter dash as well as the 4x100-meter relay for Liberia. And actually qualified by entry standard for the 100 in the American Track League last August at the Ed Murphy Classic when he ran 9:97.
You asked what's going through these athletes' minds. You can see it there. They are treating it the way they are going to treat every big competition coming up for them. The American Track League is known for this. You just talked about the performances that we see time and time again in this series of competitions. This is why we hold these meets. The trials are done. The teams have been named. This is the final dress rehearsal ahead of the biggest show of their lives. Learning to relax. They call it the optimal state of arousal. It's learning to relax through the tension, finding that perfect balance, and that's what these guys are aiming for here tonight in Gainesville.
Austin was 994 earlier today. Matadi was 998. Ready for the final, men's 100. And they're going to bring them back. That was a slight flinch, I believe, from Emmanuel Matadi in lane 6. Just a little hesitation.
And Will, he knew it. The big man came out of the blocks and then shut it down immediately. There's so much to be said for that inherent knowledge in the body that happens. And you can see him there making some comment to the officials. There's some noise in stadium. We've had a little bit of issue with the track being slippery. Looks as though it'll be a yellow flag. So he says, let's go again. Talked about ironing out the kinks. These are the kinks that you want to iron out. Likely not to happen at the biggest show, but certainly, you know, this is the practice. You got to practice through those nerves, practice through resetting, find that relaxation through the tension, like I said, and that is the name of the game here. Austin to his inside, kept running. You could tell that he was just on top of his game. It was Matadi with the flinch. They will try it again.
So they'll get back in the blocks and get ready to do this once again. Matadi allowed to continue. Those two, the fastest in the prelims. Time for the final. Great start, Recoy Brathwaite running in lane number 4, even through the middle part of the race. Austin trying to close, Brathwaite in 6, will win it. Or Matadi. Emmanuel Matadi, 9:91. Wind legal, a Liberian national record tonight in Gainesville.
Talk about performance on demand. That is exactly what you want. A season's best, a personal best that eclipses his own national best. And after that reset, Matadi finds his stride, and he does it in spades. Look at him in the dark purple, pulling away from the rest of the field. He's being contested in this early, or in the middle of the track, I should say, but Matadi comes away comfortably with that win. Explodes out of the blocks. That's the start he was looking for. Absolute focus. He is so strong, so muscular, but so fast. Powers down, drives into the track with every stride. I believe it was Fambula who was contesting him on the inside there, but Matadi smooth across the line and is rewarded with a brand new national record.
991 is a career best, and the record books are rewritten tonight on Percy Beard Track in Gainesville. Emmanuel Matadi, the winner, downstairs with Grant.
He said I gave him a little bit of that Grant juice at the start. Look, so he got a national record, PB, season's best. Look, I'm just going to say barbecue, whatever else you want to put on that record. What you got for me?
Nah, man, it felt good. You know, I knew Big Dog was watching, so got to come show out.
To come out here on the track with obviously not the best conditions, to get a national record, I think that just speaks volume into, you know, the training that you've been doing. So how do you feel? How you feel about going into Paris with that?
I feel really good. You know, everything in training been going well. My coach D2, Darryl Woodson, he been really on it with me the past 3 weeks, just sharpening things up. And I mean, you know, it worked out and everything came together.
Awesome, man. Hey, D2, BQ, TTQ, RQ, LO, R1, that's a cheat code for Emmanuel Matadi.
I love it. Thank you, Grant. One of the men who will be contesting that 100. That will include, of course, America's Noah Lyles. I love, Kate, just how big that competition feels going into Paris. Big personalities and big performers that are going to be on center stage.
Huge performers, and we should say 10th fastest time in the world this year. What a way to close out your pre-Olympic season.
The women's triple jump is underway as our field event competitions continue as well tonight. This is Charisma Taylor, who is headed to the Paris Olympic Games, a former Tennessee Lady Vol. Just another SEC standout who is in our field tonight. Charisma Taylor starting off a field of 7 that also includes Katura Orji and Jasmine Moore, the first lady in U.S. athletics history to qualify for both the long and triple jump for the Olympic Games, where she will be with Team USA in Paris.
And I love this. We're seeing, as we move to our men, so many performances by the women, so many firsts for their countries. But what a story in the form of Mr. Christian Taylor. That's got to be the story of the night here. We'll get to it closer to the end of our show here. But what a story this man has brought.
As decorated of a U.S. track and field athlete as you're going to find, Mr. Christian Taylor finishes his career tonight He says these jumps will be the most significant of my career because I know it's the closing of one chapter and the start of life after track. The accolades are just tremendous for the two-time Olympic champion, the four-time world champion, the best American ever in this event, the second longest jump of all time, 18 meters 21. And tonight, Christian Taylor hangs up the spikes after 6 more jumps here where it all began at Percy Beard Track.
We talked about how tonight is a celebration of the return to full athletic prowess after the COVID games, and well, talk about a celebration for this man. That gives me chills to think about that quote, hanging up my spikes. This is the closing of one chapter, the opening of another. But still, this is why he is the consummate professional. He's able to soak up the environment, but look at the focus. Look at the determination. He knows that this crowd is turning up. They've been there for him time after time. They have shown up yet again. He knows what he owes them. He knows he wants to put on a great show, and that's exactly what's going to happen under the lights here in Gainesville.
On the track, the men's 800 is up next. Azem Miawad, who will pace a field of 8. And some excellent credentials for the heavy hitters here in this field as well, Kate Van Buskirk, including U.S. Olympian Clayton Murphy, the 5th fastest American of all time in 1:42.93, a season's best for him of 1:44.8.
Talk about a decorated athlete. Of course, Rio bronze, 5-time U.S. champion. He was 7th at the Olympic trials this year. Not necessarily the season that he wanted. He said he's put it all together in a way that he hasn't done since 2016. And surely that will continue as he continues his success into future events. But he is going to be the man to watch.
So Clayton Murphy starts on the outside. This is Josh Hoey, the 24-year-old who finished 4th at the U.S. Olympic trials, running 1:44.12. He ran his personal best in his last race back July the 13th, just 6 days ago in Belgium, back in the States, and ready to see if he can take that PB down just a little bit more, 1:43.8, which leads this field this season.
Surely using that courage and the excitement of coming off of a lifetime best just a couple of weeks ago. He went pro early, right out of high school back in 2018. He's had lots of experience under him. Still only 24 years old, so lots of running ahead of him should he want it as well. And Hazem Miawad, our pacer, set to take things out at 50.0.
Men's 800, ready to go from Percy Beard Track in Gainesville.
The world record in this event set by David Rudisha, the 2012 London Olympic Games, 1:40.91. That is the Olympic and the world record in this event, 1:40.91 by David Rudisha of Kenya.
So Murphy there in the purple. Hoey in the black. And triple jump getting started. Donald Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, now on the runway.
And on the runway, the man of the night, Christian Taylor.
Well, if ever there was a reason to hold the start of a race, it would be for the introduction of this great man.
The men's 800's been on fire this summer as we gear up for the Paris Olympics. And we've got a great field here tonight, assembled in Gainesville. Clayton Murphy, Josh Hoey, 2 trips around Percy Beard Track in Gainesville, and Hoey who will take this thing out.
So Miawad slots into the lead again, taking them out in 50 seconds. This event has been on fire. 3 of the fastest 5 times in history have been run this year. an unbelievable number of sub 142 clockings, and Howie is on a mission. 4th of those trials, looking for some redemption here as he slots in behind our pacer.
The Seattle native from University of Washington, Kaz Elliott, filing in right behind Josh Howie, looking to make it a PB in 2 consecutive races. 50.0 was the split time given to Azem Miawad. It's pretty close to it. 49.94 officially, about as good as you could ask for, with Howie continuing right behind him.
Well, now Miawad will step off, and Howie looking to really take things on, and he is running brimming with confidence right now. Again, coming off that lifetime best. He's a 143.80. But now Murphy, the seasoned veteran, making his move, patiently stalking down the backstretch, and he's in a great position heading into the final turn.
Howie, Elliott, Downs, and Murphy with 100 left under the lights in Gainesville. Can anybody push Josh Howie, the 24-year-old, looking very strong into the final 50? Murphy will push forward, but nobody is gonna catch Josh Howie, winner tonight in Gainesville. 144.22 for the man who was 4th at the U.S. Olympic Trials. Clayton Murphy follows him up in 145.01.
144.22, outside that best of 143.80, but man, did he do it the hard way. I know he had a pacer, but leading this race from gun to tape, that is just about the hardest way that you can run an 800. And look at the daylight between him and the field entering that final stretch. Absolutely in a class of his own. Doesn't break form, great arm action. You can see him starting to tie up just a little bit, but holds off that lactic push. Great battle developing behind him, but this was all Josh Howie. What a way to close things out. Coming off that 4th place finish at trials, dips across the line and is rewarded with a big win here in Gainesville.
A sizzling fast summer of 800-meter running continues all around the world. And Josh Howie's got a new career best this month. Continues with another win here tonight in Gainesville, and he's downstairs with Grant.
I'm sitting here with Josh. Obviously, in my opinion, this is the 2nd hardest event in track and field, the men's 800. Josh, take us through your race.
Yeah, I mean, I ran well last week and just kind of wanted to come out here and take a shot. So I went out hard and kind of just held on, tried to focus on form down the home stretch. So going to keep working on that back. Last 100 through training through the fall and stuff. But yeah, I mean, happy to be out here tonight.
It looked real smooth. Take us through what you've been doing in training, what you want to continue to work on, and obviously going into the later weeks, what's your next goal?
Yeah, I mean, I've been training with my new coach since last October, Justin Rinaldi. We've been doing a lot more lactic threshold and scaling our workouts more efficiently than I have in the past. So we're just going to keep doing that another year in this system. I think it'll be fun next June, so in July. So yeah, I mean, just going to keep it up, never stop the grind.
Hey, that's one thing about me. I know I'm not going around this track 2 times unless it's a warm-up lap. So you a better man than me, Josh. Good job tonight, brother. Good job tonight.
All right, thanks, Grant. Josh Howie making a very difficult event look very easy tonight under the lights in Gainesville. Christian Taylor continues, the Florida Gator legend, in this his final event of his career in the triple jump. Women's triple jump happening as well. And in that women's triple jump, that is Imani Oliver, the American. Good crowd, good DJ, good energy.
We were calling for lightning through the skies throughout the evening. It has held off. Instead, we've got the lightning and the thunder in the stands, and that's exactly what you want. Gorgeous shot there of this beautiful facility under the lights. The track is damp, the spirits are high, and the times are fast as we get ready now for a blazing women's 800, surely well.
And I think Mo back on the track. She will wear hip number 7. She will headline a very fast field. And Addie Wiley is going to challenge her tonight, the 20-year-old who set a season's best of 158.67 in Memphis last weekend in the American Track League's Ed Murphy Classic. There is Ah Thing Mo, the Tokyo Olympic champion, And with a fall in the Olympic trials, she will not be on the plane to Paris, but it is good to see her back. And Kate, it is great to see her healthy again.
Absolutely. That was absolutely devastating in those trials that fall. She finished. All the power in the world to this woman for coming across that line, and I'm sure what was an absolutely devastating outcome. But she hasn't raced much. Her only 3 performances have come from those heat, semis, and finals of the trials. As you mentioned, she's healthy. You can see the determination on her face. There's a fire under this woman. Now, if there's anyone who can contest her, it is going to be this youngster. Well, they're both young. The 20-year-old Addie Wiley, also at the top of her game. We've got this endurance in Wiley, 1,500 meter, 800 specialist, with the speed of Mo with the 4 and the 8 double.
Addie Wiley's career best is 1:57.64. I think Mo with a record in the United States, American record 1:54.97. We're expecting a very fast time here in this women's 800.
Wiley is the only American woman ever to hold both sub-158 clockings in the 800 and sub-4-minute clocking in the 1,500, and she's only less than a year outside of being a teenager. The future is unbelievably bright for this young woman.
Also in this field, wearing hip number 4, the 28-year-old Olivia Baker. Second in the Ed Murphy Classic. She ran her season's best there of 1:59.51. As she continues her outdoor season here tonight at Gainesville.
Baker, a lifetime best of 1:58.05, achingly close to that sub-158 clocking. That's from 2 years ago, and she is on the hunt for another one tonight.
I think Mo back on the track. Addie Wiley here to battle with her. 2 trips around the track in Gainesville, off and running in a very fast women's 800.
56.5 for Walters, the pace tasked for our pace setter. And she makes her way to the front of this very crowded field. And you can tell that, she's a smooth runner, but she's having to go pretty hard to bring the likes of Wiley and Mo, who slot in behind her. Wiley just having a difficult time finding the inside lane as she makes her way around the bottom of the track.
So Mo with a half step on Addie Wiley. Olivia Baker there as well. Rachel Gearing rounding out that top 4. Dorcas Ewoy's run 1:58.58 this season. She is in this field as well, but this is I think Mo battling 1v1 with Addie Wiley at the front of this field. And the pace is right on schedule from Rachel Walters, who steps off. 1 lap left to go.
56.48, that's about as close as you can get to 56.50 for Walters. Mo threw in 57.15, and I've got to say, this looks like cautious running from Athing Mo. I don't blame her one bit after that hard fall. She's been running on the outside of lane 1 this whole time. That leaves the inside open for Wiley, running the shortest distance, but she runs the risk now of being boxed in because she has got some company in some incredibly fast runners around her.
Anybody's race as we enter the final 200. Dorcas Ewoy, the Kenyan, on the outside of the reigning Olympic gold medalist Athing Mo. Here comes Ewoy swinging around into lane 2. Wiley is there. Baker is there. Ewoy turns on the afterburners. Athing Mo fading. Addie Wiley pushing. Everyone following the Kenyan. Dorcas Ewoy. And she'll take it. Right around her career best, Dorcas Ewoy, the winner in a star-studded 800, and it is a new PB for the Kenyan, 1:58.19. Addie Wiley with a season's best, or close to it at 1:58.71 for second.
3 athletes at 1:58 and change as Baker crosses the line in 1:58.95. We knew it was going to be fast. We knew it was going to be deep. It did not disappoint. And the Kenyan Ewoy, 1:58.58, her best coming in. Well, 1:58.19. Keep your eye on this young woman because I think there is a lot more to come. She made easy work in the closing meters of that.
Rachel Gearing gets under 2 minutes as well for the first time. That's a huge PB, 1:59.50. As we see Christian Taylor continuing here in the men's triple jump. And here was his jump that took place during that women's 800. Again, the final 6 jumps of his career, the American record holder in the men's triple. Getting started in that competition. We'll continue to keep you updated as he continues. Finishing order for the women's 800. Ah Thing Mo runs 2:29 in her first race since her fall in the Olympic trials final. She takes 5th as 4 ladies go under 2 minutes. Dorcas Ewoy, the winner, with Grant Holloway.
She said it was perfect conditions. I think it's perfect time to say she has a PR. Take us through the race. How you feel?
Yeah, the plan was to just go with the pack and started there. And if there was anything, the last 200, just use it all.
I mean, you took down some big names in that race. Obviously, it's not rocket science. Coming into this race, did you focus more on them? Or you just came out here just wanted to run your own race plan?
I didn't really focus on nobody because I trained, have worked hard, so I just came here to put it all together. And hey, worked out, not actually exactly, but
you're walking out here for PR. I think that's nothing to hang your head on. Congratulations, and super proud of you.
All right, Dorcas Ewoy representing the Campbell Camels. Got to give them a shout out too, as we shout out all these SEC powerhouses here in Gainesville. She takes the win in our women's 800. I'm very excited to see what the 800 looks like on both the men's and the women's side in the Olympic Games, Kate. I sound like a broken record, but that is going to be a race where history is on the line coming up in a couple of weeks.
Well, it sure will be. Of course, we'll have a new women's champion. We know that with Ah Thing Mo heartbreakingly not making those games, the youngster with lots of star-studded lights ahead of her, surely. But we are set to see a new gold medalist as we move into Paris, and another event that has just been taking over the globe.
Lots more still to come tonight from Gainesville as we continue more of the Holloway Pro Classic. Men's 400s next. Getting ready for the men's 400 on deck for the Holloway Pro Classic in Gainesville, Florida. Will Bowling, Kate Van Buskirk with you. Grant Holloway, our sideline reporter. Our entire great crew working tonight in the Sunshine State, bringing you some outstanding track and field. Some big names, Kate, in this men's 400. You have got 4 men who are headed to the Paris Games, including potentially the youngest ever men's U.S. track and field Olympic athlete from Bullis School in Potomac, Maryland. This is Quincy Wilson.
What can we not say about this youngster? He runs with the maturity of someone a decade older than him. I had the pleasure of interviewing him at the New Balance National Outdoors, where he won the championship boys 400. And I said, is there a chance we're going to see a sophomore on the start line in Paris? I said it not joking, but, you know, with a little playful nod to him. And he said, of course there is. And he's made that absolutely come true in the relay pool for that Olympic team. And he is just coming off his sophomore year in high school. And look at the poise. I mean, if there were ever a young Superman, this is him.
A lot of us were playing video games and maybe talking about the new college football game that came out. Meanwhile, Quincy Wilson's going to get ready to go to Paris with Team USA. Broke a 42-year-old world under 18 best when he ran 44:59 earlier this season. Bryce Dedman will also be in that U.S. 4x400 meter relay pool, a 27-year-old who got gold with the U.S. in Tokyo in the 4x400. He is the 2023 U.S. champion.
Coming off that 5th at this year's Olympic trials, 44:41 his best this season, 44:22 his best in his lifetime. He's getting awfully close to that with each race.
Dedmon and Wilson will get 2 runs side by side. And Matthew Bowling will be in lane number 5 here in this field. The Georgia Bulldog, Texas-born sprinter who was a 2-time NCAA champion, picking up gold medals with the U.S. relay squads in Budapest, running the opening round of the 4x4. He was 8th at the Olympic trials in the men's 400, an event that included the now world leader, Quincy Hall, 25-year-old who comes in as the favorite into the Paris Olympic Games at 400 meters, 43.80. Another event where Team USA hopes to hear its national anthem played when the dust settles over 400 meters.
We'll talk about an embarrassment of riches. This relay pool certainly has that in spades. And that is a great problem to have, a great situation to find yourself in if you are the head coach of this squad. And there is the focus of, and it's hard to say this, but the veteran Bryce Dedmon at only 27 years old, the youngster Wilson to his inside.
400-meter hurdle Olympian Trevor Bassett working on his speed on the outside in lane 9 here as well. A 2-time world champ with U.S. 4x4s. We're ready to go in the men's 400. And we're off and running in the men's 400. Christian Taylor jumps, concluding his career. Quincy Wilson's just getting started in his. And Bryce Dedmon has the early lead on the youngster out there in 7.
Dedmon making easy work of this first 200. Look at the advantage he has. 4th fastest time in the country this year, and this is exactly why. But never count out the youngster on his inside, because here comes Wilson Bowling making a move as well.
Quincy Wilson rewrites record books wherever he goes. Side by side with Bryce Dedmon. Pushing for the line. Wilson and Dedmon headed to Paris, and they meet the line at the same time. 44.2. Career best and a new world U18 best for the man from Bullis School in Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the summer of Quincy Wilson.
That makes him the 2nd fastest American this year. Another world best for the youngster, running with the maturity of an athlete over a decade older than him. And look at what this means to him. What can we not say about the future of men's 400-meter running in this country?
44.2. Dedmon was 44.23. Look at this last 100, and these two helped each other.
The battle on, I mean, you see the difference in size. You think it's just not possible, and yet the speed endurance of this youngster, it's not just his ability, it's his ability to time it exactly right. He is patient, he is strong, and he never says die across that line. These are the tools that are going to continue building for him as he gets more mature and as he grows. But my goodness, what a race and what an outcome for Quincy Wilson.
The final leaderboards for you in the 400. Wilson, 44.2, is downstairs with Grant Holloway.
All I can say is this young Thundercat does not miss. I don't know how many times he's broke the high school record. I don't know how many times he's lined up against the line. I don't know how many times he's proved doubters wrong, but I think he deserves his flowers tonight. Quincy, amazing race. Congratulations. Tell the people what they want to hear, man.
I've been working for this. I knew when I went at the trials and I got 6th place, I knew I had some stuff left in me. I told him I was going to go out here and give everything that I had, because I want to make sure that I have a great opportunity to be able to get on the USA team on the relay. So I want to go out here and show what I can do and what I left on at the trials.
I think you really just put a statement and a stamp on exactly everything that you need to do. Just using this race as a building block, just going forward, man. Like, wow, I'm speechless. Using this race as a building block going forward, like how do you train? How do you go back to it? Obviously, I know you got a nice circle around you. So just take us through what you're gonna do the next steps.
Honestly, I'm gonna go home, chill, get ready, because we're leaving on Tuesday to go to Paris. Yeah.
We're leaving on Tuesday to go to Paris. I'm with the high school phenom. All the above, just circle D. Just circle D is all the above, whatever you want to put it on A, B, and C, man. Quincy, congratulations, dog. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing.
2 Team USA teammates, Grant Holloway and Quincy Wilson, the pride of Potomac, rewrites the record books again tonight.
And you know what, Will? What gets me most excited about this athlete is that he is complete professional while he's on the track. Look at the focus, look at the drive. He is striving. There's still a fire under him. And yet he crosses that line, and you saw the interview he just gave. That kid is full of joy, and that combination is deadly. That Bullis School, amazing out of Potomac, Maryland, and it's just going to continue. Future is bright for Quincy Wilson.
Well, we've still got a world record holder that's going to run tonight, Kate, and I do not envy anyone who's going to have to top that. These women's 400-meter runners are going to try, and tell you what, we have got an outstanding phenom in lane 5 here in this field as well, with the Georgia Bulldogs G on her chest. This is Aaliyah Butler, the U.S. runner-up at 400 meters, making her first Olympic team. You'll also see her in the 4x4, running in lane 5 right here tonight. A personal best earlier this season of 49.71.
And that 49.71 makes her the only sub-50-second performer of this field. Also only 20 years old, and yet somehow that also feels a little veteran after what we just saw. It's unbelievable, the young talent brimming here.
A great time to be an American at 400 meters. Women's 400 next. Clean start, Aaliyah Butler in the all-black of the Georgia Bulldogs. In the middle of the track, Bailey Lear, a winner last weekend in Memphis in the PUMA American Track League, a new personal best. She'll look to make it a new PB in as many races here tonight.
Another athlete who runs beyond her years does Butler in lane 5. Made up the stagger already and cruising around the bottom of the track. 4th fastest time in the country this year.
And Butler looks strong. The overhead view from behind in the women's 400 as they make the turn. There on the inside, you got Skylar Franklin, Butler in the middle, Bailey Lear to the outside. The 20-year-old Georgia Bulldog, great already. She'll cruise to a win here tonight in Gainesville. Successful tune-up for Butler, 50-14. Bailey Lear in 50-51. It's Skylar Franklin in 51-01.
Well, you've got to think that she came in with something to prove. Didn't even make the final of that NCAA championships, running 51-64 in the semifinal. Was a disappointment and has turned that around, making diamonds out of the pressure that she's been handed. And my goodness, does she do it well. She is so fast. I know that it just sort of goes without saying on this track, but her foot speed is incredible. Her turnover, the arm action, she's a slight runner, really has the build of a Quincy Wilson in many ways, but again, pulling away from the women in this field, putting them on notice, and the young Bulldog comes away with an enormous margin of victory.
Finishing order here in the women's 400, Butler, Lear, and Franklin, your top 3. We've had LSU Tigers, we've had Florida Gators talk to Grant Holloway. Well, now we have got a Georgia Bulldog in Aaliyah Butler, the 20-year-old who is headed to Paris. She was first to the line tonight. And in the women's 400, she is your winner downstairs with Grant.
We got a Georgia Bulldog. I don't know what our overall record is to Georgia, but last year we lost. So, Aaliyah, take us through this race.
You know, I just wanted to get out really fast and work on my start, and then like try to come out the 300 mark in first place and finish hard, because going to the Olympics is all or nothing.
It's definitely going to be all or nothing. Just like my knees earlier, someone took me out. That's why I'm on one knee like this. But with everything going on, you got the Olympics coming up. How did you use this race as a tune-up? And what are some things you know you can work on, and obviously to get on the podium from USA?
Yeah, just definitely my start and finishing hard, because going to the Olympics, everybody is really like top tier and top of the world, and I think it will really push me to do better. So I just wanted to work on my start and everything else.
Aaliyah Butler is on the bottom of the track, but she's on the top of her heat. Sending it back to you guys.
Well done. Grant Holloway, a natural on the microphone tonight, downstairs with Aaliyah, who gets the win. Tell you what, Kate, we talked about it with Quincy Wilson. Again, 44-20 if you're just joining us in the men's 400. It is so difficult to put together a U.S. 4x400 meter relay team. That's been a big topic of conversation this week, with Noah Lyles saying, I'd put myself in that 4x400. I mean, take your pick. Team USA has got some 5-star options on both the men's and women's sides.
5, 6, 7, 10-star options. It doesn't end as we move back to the triple jump runway.
And Kaywan Comer of the Bahamas getting the crowd into it. Again, Donald Scott and Russ Robinson, 2 Paris-bound triple jumpers in this field. That includes the American record holder, Christian Taylor. We follow this competition closely as he makes his final 6 jumps of his very decorated career. And as that continues down on the runway, back of the track, we have got another star-studded event, the men's 200. U.S. versus Jamaica here in this field. And on a very fast surface. Kate, we were interested to see how this track would run tonight. After an hour rain delay, if anything, it perhaps made this track faster. Heat and humidity have subsided. And here in Gainesville, the clock is on fire tonight.
Well, look, Will, no shade to the facility. Absolutely blazing fast track. I gotta say, though, I think it's the athletes turning up and turning up when they need to most. Talk about the depth. You know, you talked about Jamaica-U.S. rivalry. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. Is that a thing?
Not the first time that one has been discussed, and it is going to be fascinating over these next couple of weeks in Paris. And one of the men in the center of that conversation is American Arion Knighton. And again, 20 years old, finished 3rd at the U.S. Olympic trials. He has the world U20 record of 1949, running that April 30th, 2022. And that was owned by, of course, a man named Usain Bolt. 4th in Tokyo at 200, 3rd in Eugene, 2nd in Budapest. He's climbing and climbing and climbing, Kate Van Buskirk. Could he take down his fellow countryman, Noah Lyles, in Paris?
Well, that's certainly on his mind. And look, we've talked about the youngsters. 2022 World Championship bronze medalist. He became the youngest individual sprint medalist in championship history. Now, he's going to be in some maybe hot water with that title when it comes to future World Championships with the likes of the folks that we've seen on track here tonight. But talk about the medal potential for this country moving forward. Unbelievable the way that this Floridian has been showing up time and time again. He was 18 at those 2022 World Championships when he took that bronze medal. Again, he is headed to Paris and looking to upgrade that medal color, I would think.
Training in the Sunshine State, Arion Knighton will look to put together one final race before he gets on the plane to Paris. And speaking of USA, Jamaica, Brian Lavelle, 4th of the Jamaican Championships of the 100, the 200-meter national champion. And he is peaking at the right time. He has personal bests now in both of those events that he ran at the Jamaican Championships. In 1997, there you see, getting under 20 seconds and getting ready for Paris. So you can't miss him right there in the middle of the track, that snazzy pink PUMA kit. We talked about it earlier, Kate, but with a Netflix show out about some of the best sprinters in the world, with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that Noah Lyles is showcasing before races, it's good for the sport. We not only have big talents, we've got big personalities.
And big showdowns. Like you said, it is the Jamaica-U.S. showdown here in this men's 200. Surely we'll see that again in Paris.
Arion Knighton, Brian Lavelle, the men's 200. As our public address announcer will introduce this great Florida crowd to the entire field. And back over in the women's triple jump. We continue with Imani Oliver, the American. And now ready. Men's 200 final. Knighton, Lavelle, and a full field ready to go in Gainesville. Quick out of the blocks for Lavelle on the inside. Knighton just a half step slow, looking to make up ground halfway through men's 200. Arion Knighton there in the yellow in lane number 7. Now into the lead. How fast can he go? Tuning up for Paris. Arion Knighton in good form, lightning fast to the line. 1992, Arion Knighton takes the win tonight in Gainesville. Wasn't his best start, but ultimately a good final tune-up before he takes the plane to Paris.
And out of those blocks, like you said, almost a step behind the rest of the field. To his inside, that was Lavelle, the Jamaican, getting an excellent start. He's coming off of breaking 10 for the first time at the Jamaican trials earlier this year, so you know that his foot speed is at the top of its game. But look at the speed endurance. It matters not for Knighton. Imagine the perfect start combined with that amount of endurance over this 200 meters. Look, he was just outside the medals in Tokyo, 4th place. You better believe he is looking to upgrade that, joining his countrymen on the podium, eases across the line and still comes away with a sub-20 clocking. That is how you get the job done, making the most out of a not fantastic start situation.
Paris-bound U.S. Olympian Arion Knighton, 1992. There is the order behind him. Javon Powell was second in 2021, and Robert Gregory in 2033. And Grant's downstairs with Arion.
I'm down here with the young Crit. Obviously, we all know what's going on with you. Obviously, you're getting right back into shape. How are you going to use this meet, obviously, to get you ready for Paris?
It was a good little tune-up race. Hold on. It was a great tune-up race heading into the Olympics, and I feel like I did good, so I'm ready.
Obviously, with the Olympics on the horizon and everything else after, you know, how kind of tell people how all the roads lead to Gainesville in our training group, and how mentally and physically and emotionally we prepare for the Olympics.
Yeah, man, for all of my training partners that come out here, I mean, we do what we do every day, even in the hot sun. Some days we don't feel like coming out here, But, you know, we come out here and we get it done anyway. And I feel like we got a great coaching assistant here with Coach Holloway, and we're ready.
Obviously, we have a strong 200 group going to Paris, and you're included. Can the U.S. kind of get the broomsticks out and start cleaning up?
We'll see.
A man, a few words, the young cricket.
I love it. All right, Grant. Ariane Knighton, a man on a mission as he heads to Paris. Kenny Bednarek, and of course, Noah Lyles, a, let's say, fun rivalry that continues between the young Knighton and Lyles, two guys who will share the same jersey, but make no mistake, they will be battling head-to-head in these next few weeks.
Well, it was Bednarek, Lyles, and Knighton in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at those Tokyo Games. They are hoping to sweep that podium. Bring the broomsticks out, as we heard. Can't say I fully endorse that, given my countryman Grass took gold in the last outing, but obviously it will be a star-studded final in Paris as we look to the women's 200 and our star-studded heptathlete, Anna Hall.
23-year-old who is headed to the Paris Olympics in the heptathlon. World champ silver in Budapest, bronze in Eugene, and a 2-time NCAA champion for, you guessed it, of course, the Florida Gators.
Something in the water, as they say there in Florida. Saw Anna Hall in action earlier in the long jump. She shut things down, just not loving the wet runway.
So Hall in 7 and right to her inside, the winner of the 100-meter dash earlier tonight, who will be doing this double in Paris. Nigerian record holder Favor Ofili, 21.96 is her career best. Could we see a second national record tonight, in addition to Emmanuel Matani's 100 record for Liberia?
Well, not just doing double duty, but triple, as she will be part of that 4x100-meter relay team for Nigeria as well.
And there's a training partner, Candace Hill, who was just 200ths behind her training partner Ofili in the women's 100 final earlier tonight. 25-year-old, who was the first ever high school girl to break 11.0 in the 100, running 10.98 back in 2015. She turned pro that year. Still just 25 years old and a great career ahead of her. And she won in Memphis at the Ed Murphy Classic last weekend.
So Hill, Ofili, and Hall coming back for double duty. Hill and Ofili from the 100, Hall from the long jump.
Women's 200 with a trio of Paris-bound Olympians. Off and running, and look at Favor Ofili go. Her training partner, Candace Hill, right to the inside. Adasia Hodge, the 18-year-old, is there on the inside. Ofili looking to make it a double victory tonight in Gainesville, and she will. 22-36, slight headwind for Ofili, who takes it. And it's Ofili and Hill 1 and 2 once more. 22-62, and Adasia Hodge, the 18-year-old, who will be the youngest of the 200 at the Paris Olympics. She runs 22-66. That's a new season's best.
Well, that slight headwind certainly making up for the fact that Favor Ofili ran within 0.03 of a second of her season's best and did it in dominant fashion. Again, such fast footwork. She just sort of prances over the track. There's no other way to put it. Hodge giving good chase on the inside. We haven't given her flowers yet. The 18-year-old, as you mentioned, a product of that Mount Verde Academy in Florida. But it is Ofili pulling away now. And there is something working for this training duo as they come across the line 1-2. Ofili and Hill into a slight headwind, 22-36 36 to 22-62.
And for Anna Hall in fifth, it was 23.81. That is a season's best for the former Gator, who is Paris-bound with Team USA. That's your women's 200. Here tonight from Percy Beard Track in Gainesville. So Grant Holloway has got a very star-studded trio of 200-meter runners. You got another full house down there, don't you, Grant?
I got a little full house like I'm playing poker. I mean, usually you can win with full house, but I'm even now. I got 2 Gators and I got 2 Tigers. Obviously, I got 2 training partners and I got my training partner on the far end. But first the Tigers. Obviously, you guys did the 100. Now you guys came to the 200. How did you take the 100 race and try to translate it into the 2?
I mean, like Coach said, take it one race at a time. This is your last competition before you head to Paris, and let's just see the race model and start going from there. And after the 100, I'm like, I got one more. Transit and finish strong. That is it.
Yeah, in this race, I was really focusing on my first 100. Hopefully it was 11.3 or better, but we'll see what Coach Tabor says, but that's what I was working on.
And obviously, Anna, you're gearing up for a star-studded field in the heptathlon. How are you using the 200, obviously, to prepare yourself for Paris?
Yeah, I was just trying to get another race on my legs before I head off to Paris and looking for a season's best. I got a small one. I was hoping to run a bit faster, but progress is progress, so I'm happy with the day.
Obviously, we're all going to be in Paris, so I can't wait, and congratulations to you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Grant. That is an excellent trio, and of course the Gator Chomp there from Anna Hall, as the women's 200 leads us to a big finish here in our Holloway Pro Classic. We've got finals of the hurdles, the men's 110 hurdles and the women's 110 hurdles, and look at all those championships that have been won by teams that train and compete right here in Gainesville.
I'm sorry, did you say champion chomps? Because that's what I...
Well done. Very well done. 15 of them, 14 of them coached by the legendary Mike Holloway, the namesake of tonight's Holloway Pro Classic. Back down to the field, the triple jump here continues. And again, Imani Oliver. There you see Katura Orji, a 10-time U.S. champ, waiting in the wings and watching on as Oliver takes the runway. And then there is the Paris-bound Jasmine Moore. 7-time NCAA champion for Florida after starting her career at Georgia. And looking forward to seeing what she can do in Paris. So live pictures of our volunteers and all of our workers here at the Holloway Pro Classic putting up the hurdles for the men's 110 hurdles. And Christian Taylor, the American record holder, 2-time champ in this event, decorated U.S. Olympian, is waiting to make his 5th jump. He's got 2 jumps left of his outstanding career.
And we hear our PA announcer talking about a wonderful ambassador for track and field. That he is indeed. This man is so consistent, and I'm not just talking about his performances. He's consistent in his personality and his love of the sport, his mentorship of others. You see Scott there taking another jump, the rings around his neck as well. Just having a little bit of a word with the sand pit there. But these men know that they are in the presence of greatness, and what a way for the King to go out tonight. Where it all started. Talked about the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. That is powerful stuff. And this is going to be the penultimate jump of his lifetime for Mr. Taylor. You can tell that he is just never-endingly focused on the task at hand, making sure that he turns up every single time to the very end. That's how you get it done, sir.
And just an amazing amount of accolades for a guy that has been an excellent ambassador for this sport in the United States. He represented the U.S. so well throughout his career. 29-time Diamond League winner, just unbelievable.
Well, and these are the things that get overshadowed a little bit when you have things like 2-time Olympic champion and 4-time world champion. I mean, again, consistency. That is how you build. Talk about technicality, working through every little change that he makes in his training, in his competition, showing up consistently every time to make sure that he is at his best. And this is no exception. Under the lights here in Gainesville.
Said coming into the competition, these 6 jumps will be the most significant of my career because I know it's the closing of one chapter and the start of life after track. Certainly challenging to turn off that competitive mindset. Once it's done, here's Christian Taylor for the penultimate time. And with that, he's got one left.
You know, I talked about Quincy Wilson finding the joy and finding that joy through tension, that flow through tension. This man has exemplified that time and time again. You see him smiling after every jump. The crowd goes wild after every time he takes to this pit. Wiping off the sand for the second last time in his career. He's got one jump left. He is all smiles, already enjoying the accolades and the congratulations from those on track. Look at that speed. Unbelievable combination of speed, power, and finesse for King Taylor.
Second look. Brilliant. Best American to do it. Second best mark of all time, Christian Taylor in the men's triple jump, 18:21. 4-time NCAA champion at Florida when he began his career here at Percy Beard Track. So Chris Bernard will begin the 6th and final round of jumps. These men's triple jumpers, each jumping 6 times in the same order. They did not reshuffle the deck after 3. Six more jumps remaining in the men's triple. In this final round, we will show you Christian Taylor's final jump of his career when it happens. But back on the track, the hurdles are set up for the men's 110 hurdle final. With prelims that were earlier this afternoon. In those prelims, Davion Wilson had the fastest time, meaning he will get lane number 5 by virtue of his 13:32 earlier today. And Eric Edwards Jr. won heat number 2. There was a significant amount of wind for the runners in heat 1. 1.7 the reading there. 0.3 was the reading for Edwards when he won his heat. And there is Edwards. He ran 13:37, the second fastest time in our prelim round earlier this afternoon. 24-year-old who ran the U.S. Olympic Trials semifinals, 13:38 into a headwind last week in Memphis.
Well, after those heats, he said, yeah, that was pretty casual. Just wanted to put it all together right when it matters. And he looks pretty casual, but pretty focused here as well. Let's see how we can stack up that casual attitude against the best of the men here in this final. Mason to his outside. Paris-bound Jamaican.
And there's Tyler Mason. 28-year-old, 4th at the Jamaican Championships 2 years in a row. Ran the Olympic standard last summer. And Dylan Beard. Men's 110 hurdle final. Eric Edwards Jr. very quick out of the blocks here in the final of the men's 110 hurdles with a half a step. Wilson to his inside. Mason to his outside. Eric Edwards Jr. Can he close fastest? It looks like he can. 13.3. Eric Edwards Jr. with a new season's best tonight in Gainesville.
And a win legal one at that. That is a 100th of a second improvement on his mark from earlier this year. And that is almost 10th ahead of Miles Hunter, who crosses the line for second in 13:39. Casual work indeed for Edwards Jr. Powers out of the blocks. You talked about how fast he is over that first hurdle. He is in tandem with the best. He's got some contest to his inside. But quick work over those first few barriers and then just continues to pull away. Quick between the marks as well, and that is going to get him across the line first in that new season's best. That's exactly where you want to be at this point in the season. Not much wind to speak of, only 0.5 meters per second pushing him. And he's got a clear win here in Gainesville.
13:30 to Hunter, 13:39. Dylan Beard, Robert Dunning, and Connor Schulman rounded out your top 5. And Grant's downstairs with Eric.
He said it was real casual the first round, and it's still casual here on the second round. Eric, congrats on the final. Take us through that race.
Start was way better than the first round. A little bit in the between. I don't like to make excuses, but I felt a little slip, a little of that on the wet track, but we was able to keep our balance, keep composure, finish, execute, made it happen.
Obviously, with a wet track, no hurler ever wants to do that. I can speak for all hurlers, but even running that time here on these type of conditions, does that boost your confidence, obviously, going forward?
Personally, I've been kind of stuck this year. Not really sure what the stuckness has really been. We're still trying to figure that out, but I've been like real consistent in 13.3s, like from April in China to July 19th. So we'll take it. We'll take
it. Consistency always leads to greatness, brother. Congratulations.
Absolutely. And what that boy Coach O said, go Tigers. Yeah.
Hey, I'll throw it up one more time for everybody. Throw it up one more time.
Grant has no idea the internet has already taken that and run with it.
You know, I got to say, if you're stuck in the 13.3s, that's not a bad place to be. That being said, he looks like he's getting unstuck with every take to the track. Congratulations. Big win there for Eric Edwards Jr.
So that leaves us just one more event on the track, the women's 100-meter hurdles, including the world record holder Tobi Amusan. Just a moment ago in the men's triple jump, we are in the final round of jumps. There is Kaywan Colmer. So Olympians Donald Scott, Russ Robinson still to come. Christian Taylor will take his final jump after the women's 100 hurdles. So we will bring that to you live as it happens.
Will, as you mentioned, 3 of the 4 fastest times in history. And if anyone can follow this race, I was going to say I wouldn't want to be the performer coming after this final. If anyone can do it, it is Christian Taylor. So an absolute thrill for the audience on site and for everyone watching as well, for us here in the booth. What a way to close out a night of performances where the weather has held off for our athletes, and we are 1 week away from the start of the Paris Olympics. There you see Grace Stark, personal best of 12:31.
In this field, we'll have side by side the 2 fastest ever to run this event.
Well, and you got to say, Grace Stark, 12th fastest hurdler of all time. Now, that in most fields would be the story. But to say that you're 12th and that is not the story here is really something to say about the depth.
And the world record holder, Tobi Amusan, who was not thrilled with her prelim round. She makes the final. She runs in lane 6 right next to Grace Stark, who had that best mark in the prelim round. But talking to Grant Holloway after that prelim race, she made it sound like, Kate, that she's got a lot to fix here.
Well, she said it. You know, it's final after final after final. This is why she is the world record holder. That being said, the gold medal at those Tokyo Games fell out of her reach, as did actually every medal. 4th there. She is looking to make good on her promise to improve on that going into Paris. But that is what a true professional does. This was not a semifinal, this was a final. Every time I step to the line, knowing the depth of the field and the depth in the world right now, I need to step it up because there is always someone waiting in the wings to take my place.
Amusan, who broke this lady's world record when she ran 12:12 in Eugene. That is Kenny Harrison, 12:20 in 2016, the 2nd fastest time ever. 3rd at last year's World Championships. Not on Team USA, headed to Paris. 31 years old, an NCAA championship in Kentucky. Continuing her season here tonight and battling in what we feel is maybe the best women's 100-meter hurdle field outside of maybe only the Olympic final. Back over in the field, let's quickly show you more men's triple jump. This is Donald Scott, the U.S. Olympian, for his final attempt. And a good finish to his competition tonight. Donald Scott, big deep breath. He will get on the plane to Paris next with Team USA.
The Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo, the Indoor World Champion in 2018, is our American record holder.
But taking center stage, the women's 100-meter hurdles. 3 of the 4 fastest of all time. The 2 fastest Americans ever. And the world record holder, Toby Amusan, in lane 6. Final gun of the night, and a big one. Women's 100 hurdle final. They're going to bring him back. As the tension builds. Now, when this happened to the men's 100, Emmanuel Matadi ran a Liberian national record on the 2nd try.
So you're saying it's a good omen?
It might be. We'll talk about it. And a yellow flag.
And a shot there of Russell, who we should never count out. Fastest in the world this year, 4th fastest hurdler of all time. 12:25 at those U.S. trials. That is the best mark in the world in 2024.
Second try. Final women's 100 hurdles. Clean start this time and an even start on the women's 100-meter hurdles. Masai Russell and Grace Stark side by side in the middle of the track. Stark with a half step. There the inside, Tanisha Cartwright. Stark, Amusan on the outside and close at the finish. Grace Stark, 12 58 into a headwind is your winner. Amusan, 12.6. Masai Russell, 12.66. Cartwright, 12.79. Clemens, 5th at 12.88.
Well, we said she is the 12th fastest hurdler of all time. That time, not her best, but as you said, into a headwind. The 23-year-old 2024 NCAA champion for Florida got a fantastic start. So too did Cartwright on the inside. In fact, she might have had the best start of the field. Leads through halfway, and then look at Stark powering towards the line. Great push late by Amusan, left it too late. And Stark takes victory, third at those U.S. trials in a personal best of 12:31. Well, she is making up for it here in the final event on the track in Gainesville. What a run by Grace Stark.
12:58 minus 1.7. The wind in her face. That has not been the case all night. Unfortunate it was on the final gun of the night, but Stark beats the star-studded field to win here in Gainesville. And now all eyes turn to Christian Taylor, the American record holder. You can see it start to set in on his face. This is one last jump in his career.
And this is so interesting because he has had 5 jumps where he's had to maintain composure. He knows it's the end, but he's had to put those emotions aside. They're inviting the fans down, I love this, down to cloak him, to put a tunnel around him and give him his flowers. What flowers he is owed.
And the fans will make their way down to the runway. I love this. This is the conclusion of the Holloway Pro Classic, and it's starting to get real for Christian Taylor.
And you know, this is where he can really enjoy it. He's going to be surrounded by the people that got it all started for him. Final jump of the night for Mr. Taylor. Final jump of a nearly unblemished career. And what a legacy he has left for the rest of these jumpers and the rest of Team USA.
So here he comes for one final time into the pit. American record holder, Christian Taylor.
The Gator great has a personal record of 18 meters 21. That equates to 59 feet 8 3/4 inches, which ranks him second on the all-time list. Christian is a 29-time Diamond League meeting winner, a 7-time Diamond Trophy winner, and a 5-time Diamond League final winner. His achievements include 4 World Championship gold medals, 3 NCAA Indoor titles, 3 NCAA Outdoor Championships, as well as 2 Olympic gold medals and 2 World Continental Cup wins. Known for his extraordinary achievements, as one of the greatest jumpers in history, marked by his remarkable consistency and technical approach. Hey, sir. And more shot. He's got a personal best of 40.70 in the 200 and 45.07 in the 400 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for
Tailor-made, a decorated U.S. Olympian, goes out at home.
They called him a Gator great. They called it honoring a legend. From one legend to another. Congratulations on a stellar career, sir.
Special to finish your career on the track where it all began. The American record holder hangs it up here tonight on Percy Beard Track.
And what a special thing to go out on your own terms like this. We're not going to see him in Paris. He doesn't need any more cherries on top of this Sunday. He has been building this mountain for a long time, and now he gets to celebrate having summited the highest peaks in sport.
Congrats. Young one to an old one, brother.
Yeah, that is awesome.
You deserve it. Enjoy it, man.
Grant Holloway.
Enjoy it. I got Christian down here. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead, Grant.
Hey, I'm down here with Christian, obviously one of my biggest mentors. And just while everybody's here, I think I can just go ahead and say from the bottom of my heart, thank you from not only myself, but USA Track and Field, World Athletics, IAAF before they changed it, everything for all your prowess. And man, just talk us through the last jump, talk us through your emotions. The floor is yours. Take as much time as you want, brother.
Thank you, Grant. Man, I just strive to be the best athlete I could be, but I just want to be a good person in the end and be a role model, let people know that either at the top or the bottom, give God glory. He's opened doors for me. He's helped me reach my dreams, my goals. I'm a proud Florida Gator. I bleed orange and blue. And for my journey to start and end here, I couldn't ask for a better career, a better journey, and now I pass off the baton to you.
Oh, that's I appreciate that, brother. Hey, man, from the bottom of our heart, everybody out here. Hey, let's give it up one more time for Christian Taylor, please. Hey, wonderful night, guys. Send it back up to you one last time.
Grant, outstanding work tonight. You're a star in the making, my friend. You got a future in this. And we send all the best to Grant Holloway as well and wish him the best as he pursues a world record this summer in Paris. Another look at the final trip into the pit for the American record holder, Christian Taylor.
Talk about a cherry on top. This was it. Focus to the end. He said, I don't want to just be a great athlete. I want to be a great person. He brings that energy, that drive, and that legacy building to every step of his journey. Tonight was no exception.
And it looks like he liked it. The last jump as well. I think he couldn't get the smile off his face. Great angle here.
Power, finesse, speed, and now something to hang your hat on, as if you needed something else to do just that. Christian Taylor goes out once again in style.
So as a storied career ends, Kate, the fun is only beginning this summer in the world of track and field. The Paris Games are on deck. The opening ceremonies are just a week away. I know both of us could not be more excited for what is going to be a star-studded event and going to be electric every night they take the track there in Paris.
We saw the final preparations come together time and time again here tonight on the track, on the triple jump and long jump runways. And now again, all the congratulations to a man who is a huge fan of the sport himself, and I'm sure will be watching with great attention as his countrymen and women show their very best in front of the world in Paris.
So tonight, as we close the book on Christian Taylor's career, we are just starting to put pen to paper and tell the story of Quincy Wilson. The big story tonight, the world U18 best, 44.2 in the 400. And a lot of fun still to be had for each of these men and women headed to Paris as they continue their seasons here this summer. So again, we just had an outstanding hurdles race in a star-studded field. Again, a reminder, this was Grace Stark getting the win.
Pulling away from a field that could not be deeper behind her and leaving them in her wake. She had good challenge by the world record holder right at the end. Holds on for the win though. Class of the field is Grace Stark, 12th fastest hurdler of all time, and she is down with Grant.
I'm down here with the top 3 people in the women's hurdles. Obviously, Grace Stark won, but all these people are going to Paris. Grace, first you, and then I'll pass all to my side, and Toby. Just talk about how this race honestly was pretty much, and I think everybody will say it, pretty much an Olympic final right there. Just going through and just take us through how you use this race as a building block to Paris.
Yeah, I'm so blessed to be at home. You know, it was a good tune-up meet, and I like being at home. It's such a confidence booster being here, and I'm very prideful in this track, so it was great to get the win today. It was super exciting to be against all these girls. You know, a lot of these girls will be in the finals in Paris, so I'm blessed to be able to go against them.
Asai?
For me, it's always an honor to line up with literally the best hurdlers in the world. So, you know, I'm just using this meet as a tune-up as well, and just, you know, fixing the little things, go back, look and see what I can fix and work on, and then turn it up in Paris.
Toby's jigging out right now. Go ahead, Toby.
All thanks to God. I mean, another healthy finish. We had a fast first round, and then this time I'm like, what on? But I mean, okay, I was like, God, where's the second hurdles? I was searching for it, but I mean, you know, second place finish. We always want to win, but I mean, Grace did an amazing job beating my ass today, and you know, I'm working on my style. My finish is great, so I mean, just excited.
Well, ladies, congratulations. Obviously, we're all being. Oh, Christian Taylor's popping champagne. All right, obviously, we'll all be in Paris, but congratulations, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Sending it back up to you guys.
All right, Grant, before we let you go, first of all, how do you like being a sideline reporter? Did you have fun tonight?
I need to find a damn chair next time.
Fair enough. Hey, update people. How are you feeling? How excited are you? Obviously, big expectations. You mentioned it earlier. Toby's got a world record, and you're chasing one of your own coming up here.
Obviously, yeah, this meet, it exceeded all expectations. Although we were an hour delayed, between cheat codes, between Christian Taylor, and between the women's hurdles, I think this meet definitely ranks #1 on the Diamond League list. So next time everything comes together, guys, just think about Gainesville. But it's just one of the things, man, like, track and field is evolving. It's a beautiful sport. And I'll be the first to say that I am truly a track and field fan. So not only am I a hurdler, but I am a track and field fan. And, you know, to watch this meet sideline, this is my first time. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you guys for trusting me. And thank you for everybody. If you stayed this long, thank you for watching. Obviously, you know, I'm getting ready to go to Paris. So this is not what you guys wanted to see, but it's what we all wanted to see. So I appreciate you guys. And like I said, I can't wait to do this again. Just remind me next time to find a damn chair, because I'm standing on my feet. My calves are cramping like I'm crushing on the girl right now.
Grant, if we learned anything, it's that the wait is well worth it with that rain delay. Let me tell you, the wait will be worth it when we see you in Paris, my friend. Well done tonight.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
All right, best of luck. Grant Holloway off to Paris now as well, and an A+ job tonight.
Absolutely. He is an absolute natural. And speaking of naturals, there's, I don't know if that's second, third, fourth, 10th bottle of champagne, doesn't matter. Christian can have as many as he wants. He didn't, you know, the rain held off. Why not make it rain with champagne?
What a night here in Gainesville at the Holloway Pro Classic. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and thank you to Grant Holloway again, crushing it tonight in his debut as a sideline reporter. We wish him all the best as he goes to Paris. And Kate, it's here, week away, opening ceremony time.
Hard to believe, super exciting, and I couldn't think of a better way to send off the American athletes, our internationals, everyone en route across the pond, as they say. Will, what a night it's been.
We had 14 members of the Paris-bound Team USA tonight. We wish them and all of the Olympians tonight the best of luck as they make their way to Paris. And we appreciate you for joining us for the PUMA American Track League. Another great season is in the books, but the summer of track and field, it is only beginning. Thank you to Christian Taylor. Thank you to Quincy Wilson for the fireworks. And thank you. We'll see you next summer With the track and field, it continues next week. For the final time, for Grant Holloway, Kate Van Buskirk, our entire crew, I'm Will Boulding. Good night from Gainesville.